Yo, yo, what up, world? You are you, and I am Q. I'm here today with a tip. I see a lot of people complain about Logic's automation, how hard it is to get it to snap to where you want it to, how hard it is to find the parameter you want, just in general, how fiddly it seems for some. It's actually not that hard in Logic, and I actually like working with automation in Logic. It's not my favorite. I guess Ableton's a little bit easier because of how just the way it works, but Logic is not that different. There's only one maybe extra step, if you will, to kind of be able to do it the same way. Anyway, I'm just gonna make something simple. So this is a simple loop that I'm working on. Bass is coming in. What? Anyway, so I'll just make something simple like a riser to add to this, and that'll involve some automation, and I'll talk you through how I do it. So if we're gonna make a riser, we're gonna need a software instrument. I'll just make a simple noise one. I'll even use the ES2 built in. If I can remember how to use the ES2. It's been a while. I actually have a noise preset. Sure, that works. Okay, I'm actually gonna use this filter as a high pass to cut the lows out. I'm actually gonna use another filter, like a not filter built into the synth. That's not the best way to say that, but you get it. Also, I want more. It's not the most efficient way to do it, but I'm gonna do this probably the least efficient way in order to have more parameters to automate, so that I can show you the different ways I would do it. So first we make something like that. I like my noises to be a yellowish color, or my risers. Oops, that's the wrong one. Dude. That's shift backslash, by the way. I use that shortcut a lot for forced legato. It's right here. Trim note and to following notes, forced legato, shift backslash. So yeah, just so you know. And you can always, if it's not that in yours, you can change it, or you might have already, but that's way too much information. Anyway. Okay, so how these things usually go is there's a filter that'll get rid of high content, and then it'll filter itself in. So we'll use, actually let's use an EQ so that we can actually watch it go. And also, just to remind you, in case you're new to the game, filter, EQ, they serve the same function. EQs have filters. That's what this is, a low pass filter. So I'll just use that instead, because Logic has a filter, but it's an auto filter. It's a lot more complicated than what I need right now. Okay, not sure what that was, but fixed it. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so hit A to show automation. Now the shortcut that's the most important, one of the most important shortcuts, at least the one. So in Ableton you can, and I'm not sure about the other DAWs, but in Ableton, you shift focus to the parameter you want to modulate, the parameter you want to automate by just touching it. So like, let's say in this filter, if you want it, or in this ES2, for instance, if you wanted to automate the filter cutoff, you would actually just click it like that, and then it would show up here. But that doesn't seem to be the case in Logic. It doesn't seem like it's just that easy, but it kind of is. So, for instance, we're going to be modulating. Well, here, let's get it to where we want it. So the first thing I do is I get the parameter to its starting point. So somewhere down here is where it's going to come from, and it's going to go all the way up to the top, right? And then there's going to be a little bit of, I like a little bit of resonance, but the resonance is going to dissipate as we get up to the top here because, you don't want crazy peaks up here. So anyway, so the first thing I do is I'm going to use this shortcut. It's Control, Command, and A. So you kind of make a weird little triangle with your fingers, and you press that. And if you notice, every time I press it, it goes from read mode, as in the channel wants to read automation, to latch mode, as in it wants to. The way I remember is it wants to latch onto whatever you're touching. That's just how I remember it. There is also a touch mode, which is different, but just don't confuse yourself. But use that device if you want. That's how I remember. So now I can hit play, and everything I touch, I can even record a pass in real time if I wanted to, but that's not something I normally do, especially for something like this that's pretty much going to be a linear envelope to fade up. Well, you'll see. Anyway, so I'll hit play. I'm going to change this guy, and I'm going to change this guy. So I just click them. And if you saw, it made 2 lines down here because we're in latch mode. So we can go out of latch mode. We can open this disclosure triangle, and you will see, oops. You know what I want though, is I want both of them. Okay. So they're both here now, but they're not just lines. They're where, this is where I touched the parameter, and it's obviously, I didn't move it. So it's still static. Same here. So the first thing I do is I go like that. That's Control, Command, Delete. I delete all of the parameters. That's just something I do because I'm anal, because I want to make everything fit in this region. So the high cut frequency is in its beginning spot, and the high cut slope or resonance. Oh wait, no, I clicked the wrong parameter. That's why that is. So let's fix that really quick. Not slope. This one. Right? Yeah, it's that one. Okay, and then I'm going to Control, Command, Delete to get rid of the automation that it wrote. Okay, so now that we have the 2 parameters that we want, and this happens faster. There's 2 ways, happens faster normally. There's 2 ways to make the nodes. It's gonna take ultimately, to just drag from low to high, it's 2 nodes, right? But anyway, here we go. So you can make the nodes as a shortcut. If you want to make the nodes around the region, it's Control, Command, 2. Now what happened there, I pressed Control, Command, 2, and it took that whole region, and at the borders it made 2 nodes here and 2 nodes here. So you have 4 nodes total, which is enough to be able to do this. Bam. So now I have this square that's going up, rectangle, whatever. But that's not what I want. I want a slope. Boom, we just get rid of that, and we get rid of that. And now the filter is filtering up. The next thing we're going to need, and it made nodes for this one, for the Q factor, the resonance, if you will. So then while I'm looking at it, let's get it down to normal. If you see, I'm watching here to see what, that's a little bit of resonance, that's none. Ultimately, I'm going to want it to end up at none. but start with a little. So that's what that is. If you look. This goes down a little bit. This goes up. Right? You get it? I'm just gonna get rid of any low end. So boom, that's one way. Now remember that shortcut is Control-Command-2, and that's to make... Here, I'll just delete all the automation again. Actually, you get it. And that's to make the 4 nodes at the region borders. So 2 and 2. And then you can kind of use geometry to just make the right line you want. So that's one way. The other way, that's Control-Command-Delete, by the way, to delete all automation. Let me just show you what that that's Option K I just pressed to pull up the key command menu, and I can just search. Delete automation. It's this one. Delete visible automation on selected tracks. Boom. And you can see there's actually more shortcuts. This little menu here, by pressing Option K, is invaluable to just search for. You do have to learn what terminology they use. Sometimes it's not the words you would use, but once you kind of get an idea, you can search for anything and find out what its key command is, or you can make custom key commands if you don't like theirs, or if they didn't have one for a feature you use all the time. Yeah. So the other way to do it, staying along with drawing the automation, is to use the marquee tool. So let's say I don't want it to be the whole region. I just want it to be a part of the region. Grab the marquee tool. I made it my command tool, so I'm holding command. This is your, left click tool. This is your command click tool. Anyway, you can just use the marquee tool, make a selection, and do the same. Boom. Double click to delete those. You got yourself a line. Same here. Boom. I want this one to go from here, and I want it to go down. Boom. Now it's going down. So that's the other way, using the marquee tool. That's probably the way I use the most. Actually, I probably use the region thing the most, because it's more likely for me to change the timing. So this changes the timing from before, because before it was a line over the entirety of the region. So this will come in faster and come in later, right? The filter will. I actually trend towards using curves to achieve the same thing, and they feel a little bit more natural. So I'm inclined, in this case, to use the Control-Command-2 method to pull up these. Boom, boom, right? And then I hold Option Shift, and I use the curve tool to control how much time. Wait, is that not Option Shift? Because I think it is. Oh, sorry, Control Shift. Hold Control Shift so you don't have to pull up the stupid curve tool. Wherever it is. I don't even know. Automation curve tool. You can do that. Or you could not do that. So Control Shift, and I usually use the curve to control the timing. So that's coming in earlier, that's coming in later. There's an S curve, comes in early, kind of plateaus, and then finishes strong. I use curves to change the timing because they feel more natural. That's kind of what your hand does, because if you're fading in the filter with your hand towards the end there, you'd speed up a little bit because you want to hit your mark. But anyway, you get it. So that's the other way, is to just use the region borders and use curves for timing. Always use curves anyway. So far to recap, we have using Control Command 2 to make the 4 nodes at the region borders. We have using the marquee tool to also make 4 nodes to then, kind of geometry your way there. The other way is to do it in real time. I love doing that too. Like, let's say I had just laid this down and I just threw this EQ on. We'll just throw it on now. Boom. Okay, we want to first roll out this. Cool. This is like how it would normally work. Okay, I think I want that to filter in. Control Command A. And I'll just start writing. Right? Always, every time you do a pass, finish by pressing Control Command A again. You're gonna mess it up, but you don't want to leave latch on, because then later on when you're mixing or something like that, you'll be writing automation for every parameter you touch. You'll probably screw it up once, but that's part of it. But as you can see, I just drew an automation curve there. In real time, it's quicker sometimes while you're just throwing stuff on stuff. And the next thing to do would be to give it some resonance and record this pass. Right? Oops, my alarm's going off. Oop, I just hit my microphone. So that's the other way. Another way to deal with automation. Just record it in real time. Take multiple passes. If you just have your mouse and record different parameters, you get different results. But ultimately, this ended up to be, just like I said, it's a curved line, because at the end, you always have to make up for a little bit of time. It's a human thing to do. So that's why those parabolic automation curves sound good. Anyway, recording it in real time, the other way. And that's fun, particularly if you are, don't forget that you can, they have these, I forgot what they're called, smart controls. Some of them do multiple things. Automating these in real time is fun. Any macro and massive. Let me turn that alarm off before I murder someone. Okay, so there's recording it in real time. There's drawing it. There's also just drawing it. I don't really need to show you that, but the real key factors to take in are the shortcut. Here, I'll add something else and kind of do it really quick so you can see. But just the shortcut, Control Command A. That's key. That gets you toggled back and forth. You're looking here. That gets you toggled back and forth between read and latch mode. And once you're in latch mode, remember that whatever parameter you touch while it's playing, that's another key thing in Ableton. If you use Ableton, just whenever you touch the parameter, it shifts focus, even whether you're playing or not. It has to be latched in Logic, and it has to be playing. Anywho, what I'll do now is I'll add one or two more things, and automate them really quick and just show you how quickly I can get it done. So I'm not going to talk, but I'm just going to do it. So okay, sorry, I had to fix that. Anyway, so here we go. I'm going to add some other stuff. Let's see. I always forget where it is here. Oh, yeah, because it's a tremolo, not an auto pan here in Logic, just in case you didn't know that. So I just wrote that, and then we'll do the depth. Oops, I just made the mistake that I warned you guys about. I left latch on and I hit another parameter and it wrote some more automation. That's not a big deal. It's easy to get rid of, but just, yeah, beware. So now that's my, I'll even do, even throw one of these in. I don't even need to look. Boom. Oh, when it cycles, I don't know if you noticed that. If I were to, no. As it records, I'm cycle recording. This is the part where it looped around. So it's writing the automation from there. If you see, it should be down here to up. But when it looped around, it stayed from here. But if it does that when it loops around, just press Command Z. And what you're undoing is the cycle. You're undoing the part where it looped around. Turn this back to read. Don't make that mistake. And we have a solid riser. So there you go. Some of the ways, there's other ways and there's other things. But if you just want the core functionality and the ease of use and pretty much the way I use it, the way I write automation in Logic, those are the ways. And it's not that difficult at all. And it's pretty fun, even. Anyway, you are you, I am Q. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. It's DJ Quasar. Actually, all my socials are It's DJ Quasar. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.